What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Good morning. Great morning. What a joy to be here with you and do it all with you. We have a big day ahead of us, a very important day, a critical day, one that we've been setting up, or I've been setting up for quite a while, starting on February the 25th. Let me go ahead and continue in over here. Next, why is this happening? We have a lot to talk about in this video today. We're going to be looking at a lot of charts. We're going to be looking across the markets to put all the pieces together. And the reason we've been focusing on the macro lately, because right now we are at a particular important time where it's important to understand the moving pieces. Starting and setting up today on February the 25th and going that afternoon. Right after that noon, this was Bitcoin danger, the greatest risk to Bitcoin. This was on March 4th. It was twice, two videos in the same day or on a Thursday.
This morning we said the greatest risk
to... I talked about, do I think the sell-off continues? Markets dump hard after Powell. This was the same day, March 4th, two videos discussing what is happening today. What is happening right now? We have the FOMC meeting today. 2:30 is the press conference. 2 o'clock is the statement. They've gone ahead and added, I've never seen this before, economic projections of the FOMC. Who knows? Who cares? 2 o'clock Eastern time is always when the statement is released. They now have, this started back in 2020, they now do a press conference every meeting. Jerome today, this is the day, this is Jerome's day, make or break it. We could be seeing the greatest risk to Bitcoin take place or beginning to take place. We're going to talk a lot about that today, because this is what is, listen, just let me be very clear. This very often, very often, I have exact, let's say, my bearings, my situational awareness. I know what's going on with Bitcoin. In this moment today is very tricky. And I have to say that there's a lot of uncertainty, not clarity. So listen, being able to acknowledge that, being able to realize that, that's really important. That's really important. I don't want anyone to have the false impression that I have this crystal ball that I'm able to see the future. That's absolutely not the case. What I'm able to do is take the market, to take price action, put together everything that's happening, and then have a really good idea where I stand. And right now, I don't know what the Fed is going to do. I've set this up. I'm not going to go over today in detail, because I've done this in great detail, preparing you for this moment and what is happening right now. If I look across the internet, if I look across the crypto community, if I look across the Bitcoin community, there's really no help out there. No one else is talking about what is the greatest threat to Bitcoin during its bull market run. As far as I know, I'm the only one. So I'm kind of out here alone. And, I don't know, first of all, what Powell is going to do today. I don't know if he's going to address the SLR condition. I don't know if he's going to let interest rates run high. I don't know how the market's going to react to it. You could see we have the Nasdaq down already 1% this morning. S&P under a little pressure. By the way, the Nasdaq, we know this is quite bullish here. We have a breakout, retest, resumption off, right? Just coming back down right now into some local bit of support. There's no negativity, but this could change later today. And if we see a sell-off and we take out the 12,747 support and then get back below this trend line, this low over here, this last swing low that took place just a week ago, that's going to be in jeopardy. If we take that out, it could get ugly. It could get ugly quickly. I'll talk about later what that means for my current position in Bitcoin and whether or not, or actually I'll just walk you through how mentally I'm approaching this. I need to just clarify. Can I get a thumbs up here as we get started this morning? I'm clarifying to you the greatest threat to your Bitcoin is you selling it. I'm clarifying to you today that today is fuzzy. Today, I don't have that clarity that I like to have going into the FOMC today, because Jerome could really set off, let's call it a taper tantrum, like we saw back. When was it? It was so far. I don't remember exactly. This could really send shockwaves through the market. Bitcoin will be affected. What that means, I'll walk you through that at the end. If you haven't seen these videos, just take a note really quick. February the 25th. Do I think the sell-off continues? Stock market dumps hard after the move up. Then you have the greatest risk to Bitcoin. The greatest risk to Bitcoin during its bull market phase right now. Not like the greatest risk to Bitcoin and the fact that it exists and whether or not there is a bug in the code that could cease that to exist or anything like that. Pay attention. That's the greatest risk to Bitcoin. The greatest risk to Bitcoin and us achieving our goals during this bull market phase. Today's a pivotal day. And then you have over here this other one, the same day, March the 4th. Do I think the sell-off continues? Stock market dumps hard after Powell. The macro shared in those episodes, I hope I got those 3 episodes correct. I think I got it right. I know most of you have seen them, right? Will I be live for the conference today? I will not. It's my wife's birthday week. We are celebrating. We are away. Took her, there's no way I'll be live for the statement with you all. But I never have anyway. So, or I might have back in 2020 early, right around the crisis. I can't say that. There might have been 1 or 2 FOMC statements I traded through with you all. This will not be it. I will check in, obviously the latest tomorrow morning with you all. If there's something to talk about this afternoon or this evening, for sure I will be there. All that I could say, it's a big deal. As interest rates continue to rise over here, this is something that could do. Look at this over here, by the way, 10-year at 1.66% this morning over here. You could see it's coming into that top of that resistance level over here. If it breaks out over here, it's not too far before this starts causing a massive problem, sending shockwaves throughout the whole financial system. Will the Fed if the Fed doesn't address it today, if Jerome doesn't address it today, that's kind of this kind of like a signal, a hint that they're going to continue to let the market be a market. That could cause some serious problems. I have to be honest. I'm a little bit concerned. Do you think that? No, I don't know. I think he has political pressure not to do anything here right now. Regardless of what you think, the Fed is not independent in any means or fashion. And I think he has political pressure here to stand aside. I don't know what's going to happen. And that's how often do I stand in front of you all, huddle in together and be like, look, this is what's going on. I have no idea what's going to happen. And I don't. And I hope it's a non-event. I sincerely hope that today's FOMC winds up being a non-event. And a non-event would be quite bullish, right? Because of the markets right now, they have this hugely bullish structure to them. First of all, I mean, you've heard it before. I don't mean to say it over and over. But just here on February the 17th, I talked to you about the fact that rates rising could cause a stock market correction. And they wound up doing that, It was substantial on the Nasdaq. Was this a 12 or 14% correction? It was big on the S&P 500, big enough, but it set up this bull flag. We acknowledged it as we came into this down here, this day, right over here on March the 4th, right? As we were coming into that area of support, I told you, look, we're coming into this support. It wound up being the low, but once we broke out of the bull flag, we had the breakout, the retest, the resumption up, new all-time highs in the S&P 500. It's all quite bullish structurally. Nasdaq lagging so far, but it had a breakout of the consolidation, retest, resumption up. It all looks good. The dollar's at a critical level, though. We looked at this yesterday, and I moved this trend line up to here, touching the top of these areas. It's irrelevant to me. I know that we're having problem into resistance right now, but this could go either way, and it's gonna move today. We could see FX. We could see big moves in FX later this afternoon. Actually, we're going to see big moves in FX later this afternoon. Be prepared and make sure you never take a position before the FOMC. That's gambling. Don't ever do that. Wait to see what happens. Always keep that patience. You're stalking your prey, waiting for your setup. You're not FOMOing in after anything. FOMOing leads to disaster. This is a funny day we have ahead of us right now, right? Because again, I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know how the market's going to react, but it's a pivotal point, and that's important to acknowledge. It's important to watch out for there. Greg is right in a sense. Selling your Bitcoin is the biggest threat to your Bitcoin investment. However, let's look at this over here. Bitcoin trading at $55,000. All right, let me come over to the daily time frame just for a second to see what that looks like over here. All right, Bitcoin, you can see made the higher high yesterday, came back in testing the lows. We're in no man's land. Obviously, we spoke about the technicals yesterday. Jordan, you gotta focus on the technicals, right? And when I talked about that, this was the reason. Anyway, I'm not gonna. This was so beautiful. What we did here together on this pullback, this last pullback, was so beautiful as we pulled back in, talked about when we were zooming out, and then talked about putting this trend line over there. Anyway, it was all absolutely perfection. Real, our game continues to improve and improve. Our community continues to improve and improve. It's all beautiful to sit back and take in. But right now, going into this last bit of resistance, this coming in around 51,600. And I said, once we break above that, that's when really we send it. It did. It sent us to new all-time highs. Price discovery was still above that broken resistance, which is now support, right? And as long as we remain above that, this is looking like very extremely bullish price action at an extremely bullish time in Bitcoin's 4-year cycle during the bull market phase. Coming off of 2 pullbacks, everything looking good over here. That could change. I always want to be aware of my risk, especially all of a sudden if something happens today in the markets that causes massive selling. Bitcoin will not be immune. I know I told you that Bitcoin will break all correlations, especially in the first quarter of 2021, and it's going to be really pronounced come the third quarter of 2021. But in this moment today, think back in March of 2020, Bitcoin is not immune. Everything will be correlated if the Fed, because the markets are all about the Federal Reserve and the monetary policy that they set forth in conjunction with the central banksters throughout the world, because you have all these central banks acting in unison, right? So yeah, if Bitcoin takes out this area of support over here, watch out. Watch this trend line over here from the bull flag that set off that resumption out of that correction. If we trade below there, then we're in trouble. And when I say that we're in trouble, what does that mean? Jordan, are we going to have a 30% plus pullback, right? Where does that take us? You have to know ahead of time, because if this starts unfolding quickly and you're seeing Bitcoin come off $10,000, you're going to be a deer in headlights if you don't have these levels prepared mentally ahead of time. Now, if someone is just holding on to Bitcoin with no leverage, it's irrelevant. And listen, going back to the March 2020 crisis, I not only held Bitcoin to 3,800, and it wasn't just me. If you look at the 1-year holder ratio, it was extraordinarily high. Over 60% of people holding Bitcoin a year or longer held through that dump. That 60% dump, it broke the model at the time. Over 60% of the people holding Bitcoin for a year or longer held through that. You're talking hands of steel. You're not talking Dave Portnoy hands. You're talking, the strongest hands there are. Not only that, taking a piece back at 42, 48, in the early 50s, it was an opportunity. But if you're trading Bitcoin lightly leveraged during the bull market phase over here, and you're going to start seeing an event take place, you better know ahead of time so you can lighten up that position. There's a big difference between holding Bitcoin with no leverage, and if you are holding Bitcoin with no leverage, you could sleep really easy no matter what happens right now and what unfolds. What I mean by that, Bitcoin is in its bull market phase. If there's some turbulent sea waters right now, if there's a storm, it's going to be resolved within a short period of time. When I say short period of time, I'm not putting a time frame on that, but definitely within this bull market phase over here. And Bitcoin's going to go on, in my opinion, to do epic things during this bull market phase. No question about that. But over here, we got like big storm watch ahead. I hope we walk away through today as a non-event, but that's not a given by any means. 30% drawdown right now is taking us right down towards that breakout, right? Towards this trend line breakout from the bull flag, the trend line which set this off. That's more or less, right? 44,000. 650, 28% pullback. What would this area, this light support I have over here, that's a 33% pullback. This is the bigger one. I think this holds, right? That's 38.5%, 38,000. You should be viewing that if that were to, you should kind of have like the cheat sheet ahead of you right now. If we see some problems, if we see first this local bit of support taken out, watch out. If we see this area of support taken out, then this is becoming a big correction, 30% plus. I don't think it goes greater than 38%, but be mentally prepared and be prepared that you're not waiting over here to get liquidated, that you're lightening up as these levels get taken out. It's much better to lighten up as important technical levels get taken out. And then as it repairs itself, however long that takes, it could be very quick. It could be like a quick V, or it could take us some time. It could take us anywhere from 30 to 60 days going off the last cycle for a correction to take place and then resume out of it. But as it resumes out of it, that's when you want to be building up your position if you are lightly leveraged, improving your liquidation level, having that raise as price rises. It's different than if you were just not trading any leverage, right? If you're not trading any leverage and price comes down over here and corrects down 25%, 27%, you're a buyer here into that area of support. And if it breaks and it comes down further and it comes down, 33% into this area of light support, you're a buyer. And if it comes down 38%, you're a buyer. It's two different strategies. You have to understand what you're doing and how you're trading it ahead of time. So that's Bitcoin today. And what a unique day. This is the day that Jordan's like, I don't know. And I'm comfortable not knowing. I'm extraordinarily comfortable not knowing, at the same time being able to understand and manage my risk levels, understand what we're looking at. You could say, and it's fair to say, listen, I don't know anyone more bullish than Jordan, or I should say realistically bullish than Jordan. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I'm not the most risk averse out of anyone. And I saw this coming. I told you here on March 4th what the greatest risk to Bitcoin, and it's this guy right here. It's not the Chinese miners or whatever nonsense. It's not Tether. It's not there's so much FUD that I don't even acknowledge it, really. That's not the risk to Bitcoin. This guy's the risk to Bitcoin. I wish that we had the community. When I say community, I'm talking about we got the internet here. We got a lot of people focusing on Bitcoin, right? And how many of them are talking about what's going on here today and how it affects Bitcoin? Maybe well, anyway, we'll leave it there. Just let me finish over here before I get back into the markets. This is Plan B, right? You're all familiar, or most of you are familiar with Plan B. I just want to be very clear. I do not follow the stock to flow model at all. At all. It does not affect my analysis whatsoever. I like the chart that Plan B has done over here with the pretty colors. The pretty colors are showing how many more months to the next halving. This is hugely beneficial in my own analysis. I love this chart, and I'm grateful for Plan B creating it. We both don't use it the same way. When I say we both, me and him, don't use it the same way. And I don't understand his analysis. He's saying that we are only 3.5 months into the Bitcoin bull market. Obviously, if you're following me and my work, you know that began right over here as we broke out of the trend line coming from the all-time high. We've had a couple of touches over there. And then over here, when we broke out, that's when I said, okay, now technically we've begun the bull market. That was back in July. So anyway, I just want to sincerely distance myself from Plan B and his stock to flow model, which I do not follow. If you see me using this chart, it's because I like the pretty colors. This is one of my favorite charts. All right, clarity. Let's get everyone on the same page over here. So sorry, I didn't mean to highlight that comment over there. Yeah, I mean, that's how you do it over here, MM talking about how we take a look, right? Brother. It is different. My tone is usually different today. It could also be, working remotely. It could also be the mic. It could also be the new machine I'm on or different machine I'm on. It could be a lot of different factors. But if you're picking up on the greatest signal today, my tone about Bitcoin and the markets, there's a big risk out there today. It's the greatest risk to Bitcoin. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what Jerome is going to say, do or not do. And the worst thing he could do is not acknowledge the problem that we're into. He could get a free pass. I don't know how good Jerome's game is. I honestly don't know. People are always like the Fed, whoever the chairman is, the Federal Reserve, the central banks, they're always behind the curve. They're always late. No, they're not. They're central planners, and they're planning all of this. They're doing it to cause inequality. They're purposely taking money from the poor, and they're purposely redistributing it to their shareholders. They know exactly what's going on. Sometimes it's in their benefit to crash the markets, right? We've seen it many times before. We just saw it back in 2020 in March. Was it the global lockdowns that triggered that bubble to cause that massive disarray in the markets? Yes. Did they know that was going to happen ahead of time? Yes. On this channel, starting in September of 2019, we were talking about the repo rates, what it meant for the markets, how the markets were broken, and what the ramifications could be. It just climaxed late February, early into March. Are they going to take this thing down right now? Do they think that the best play for them is to see a big stock market correction and then give them the opportunity to come in and to print more money and to expand their balance sheets? I don't know. I don't trust them. They're not looking out for me. They're not looking out for you. They're not looking out for the people. I know that. So let's see. Well, we're here. We're aware of the situation. We know that we have a lot of risk going into today. I hope it's a non-event. I sincerely hope it's a non-event. I hope that whatever Powell's able to do, that he is a maestro today and is able to perfectly orchestrate the markets, and that we go back off to, la la land. We're enjoying the bull run over here. But, that's where I stand. That's where I am today, watching these rates over here. I mean, this is the greatest risk to the financial markets over here, these rising rates. And we're not talking they need to get too high or too far for that to happen. I talked about if we break above this resistance over here, the move could be very quick towards 1.93%. Is that enough to cause a crash? I mean, I don't know. Just be ready for blood. That's all I'm saying. Obviously not a person. People might be like, Jordan, you're way too bullish. I'm not a person to cry wolf. I'm not a person to scare anyone or anything like that. Adverse, actually, that's the opposite of what I do. I'm here to provide clarity and calmness, but you have to be prepared for what's going on today. So we got the equity markets opening up in 4 minutes. The Nasdaq is about 0.5% off its low, right? Okay, that's fine. S&P is only off 0.5%. Does it make sense that you saw profit taking at the S&P trading at all-time highs before the FOMC? Yep, textbook trading going on right now. Nothing to be concerned about yet. Okay? Nothing to be concerned about yet. Could that change later today? Could we see the DXY, actually trade back into this resistance and maybe within the next 48 hours or less break above it? Yes, that will be a big event. I will be hyper focused in on that if that is happening. And if that's happening, you're going to see Bitcoin correcting. It is a dollar story. No question about that. Bitcoin is not immune in this situation. Just trying to give everyone that heads up. And that's about 27 minutes in. And that's my presentation. We have some time here together, right? I hear all the kids waking up. We got some time here together. So let's just flow into a free flow. If there's any questions that we could take regarding what's going on today or the markets in general, it's time to look at that. By the way, it's been a minute since I've looked at Ethereum. Let's take a look at what's going on over there. So Ethereum, by the way, looking pretty good. The risk on Ethereum is breaking back below this trend line over there. I don't see that happening right now. Is Ethereum getting ready to break out? You got to have the trend line over here. Hold on. I'm working a little handicap today, and I will be through Friday. No big deal. Yeah, it's like this. This is the trend line you're working at over here on Ethereum. A break above here. Okay, you could clone this trend line, which I'm going to do right now. I'm going to clone that trend line and put it off that top one over there. It's the upper one when this really sends it, and that's the Ethereum cheat sheet right there. All right, clarity is what I like. And that's bullish, by the way. Ethereum is just a stone throw in crypto land from all-time highs over here. I'm trying to break that up. I can't. Anyway, not important. So let me see what we got. So let's take a couple questions. You ready? Jordan, what do you think about the 30-year? Nothing. Jordan, check out some major FX pairs. Jack, we'll take a we'll do that. We'll go quickly, but I'm waiting till after the FOMC to do that. You could see, or just briefly alluded to the DXY being at that critical level, but we'll do that for sure. What does a strong dollar cause Bitcoin to decrease in value? Grayscale is offering new trust to invest in 5 different cryptos. Alan AU on Twitter continues to up his game. Absolute fire coming out of the kid. Follow him on Twitter. No question about that. Stop loss is 0. I'll just walk away. And yeah, that's awesome. Mr. Blue Box, stop loss of 0. I think the first person that ever said that across the internet was right here. This guy, right? Conquering the markets all day long. I will just walk away and come back in 2 weeks. Diamond hands until the end. That's good perspective. Right? Keep supporting the channel though. Keeping the flow. Chat app signal accepting Bitcoin. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you, Stefano. Stefano and the moderators are just absolute godsend. Thank you so much for helping make this experience what it is. You've really helped me spend a lot more time preparing for each and every episode. It's really helped the overall quality of the content, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much. Right? I will never tell you. Listen, if you're asking me or anyone else if you should sell something and buy something else, you're never gonna be a successful trader. Oh my goodness, there was something I wanted to share with all of you. There was a lot I wanted to share with you. I didn't have the opportunity. So tomorrow, expect a really good episode. But we'll talk about that later, Lowell. Right? We'll talk about that life-changing stuff. Almost every day, sometimes more than several in a day, I receive notes from all of you sharing your experiences and how this channel has absolutely changed your life and continues to change your life. And not only that, how it's inspiring you to help and change other people's lives. That's the signal right there. If you're asking someone what to invest in, that means you're better off not investing. You're better off actually just binge watching the channel over here and catching up. It's not going to take you too long to have a lot of clarity and understanding of what type of moves you should be making. Uncertainty equals opportunity. That's right, especially if you're not trading any type of leverage. If you're trading Bitcoin lightly leveraged right now, you are in, let's say, a big yellow caution zone. And if you are, because if you lose this level, you have to lighten up. If you lose this level, you have to lighten up. You have to be prepared ahead of time. However, if you're not, these are buying opportunities. But this was the buying opportunity. This is when we called out the buying opportunity coming back down here off 20%. And then it was the breakout of this trend line over here that set up the next buying opportunity. I called family and was like, listen, now's me and my wife, this is the time to step in and buy. And then yesterday they're asking me, okay, should I buy more Bitcoin? I don't understand it. People want to buy as the price rises. If you're not trading with any leverage, you're buying as the price comes off. It's 3 ways to trade Bitcoin, the bull market phase. You got to nail it. You got to get it right. So what else are we looking at over here? I'm just trying to catch up with some of the comments and plug into all of you. Doug, the next training class, I believe, is going to be on Friday. You all know how I do it each and every week. I basically announce the day before. I send out an email. I post in the announcement channels on Discord what the title of the training session is and when it is. And then we go from there. But it looks like it's going to be on Friday. This is going to be an exceptional training session talking about, those that are using something like BlockFi and loans. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that now, but probably on Friday. What else? No. Yeah, Jeffrey, just let me just highlight that of hawkish. Well, I don't know if the dove of all doves, Jay Powell, is going to come out hawkish. That would be a market surprise, right? I'm always risk adverse. I'm always looking at the risk. That's why I'm looking at him being hawkish. But the guy just he's like Mario Draghi. He's like the miracle worker, whatever it takes. He always outdoves the markets. It's a question of whether or not they want to or not. That's the question. And people are like, oh, the Fed, they always get it wrong. No, they always get it right. They know exactly what they're doing. Trust me. Let's see what they decide to do. Would you buy the dollar across the board into resistance right now? That seems to be the question, or that seems to be the sentiment. I would never buy into resistance, and you're into resistance right now. You're into this trend line resistance. I showed you yesterday how this was actually this. You can see the touch over there. you're into resistance right now. If you're going to buy the dollar, it's going to be a break of this 92.54 resistance up here. Then we're looking at a bigger move into this blue box area. Right over here, buying into resistance. Woo! Conquering the markets 101. We buy off support in uptrends and sell off resistance in downtrends. This right now is a downtrend and a big one. We're in a downtrend in the dollar into resistance. Buying that right now today before the FOMC, that's gambling, and that's not how you trade the markets. So what else are we looking at today? Jeffrey, thank you. That's a special comment for me. That's great to hear. Thank you. Thank you, Giles. Thank you, just not only Giles. Thank you, Giles, and thank you each and every one of you for everything that you bring every day, right? So really grateful for all of that. Jordan, did you not once talk about Bitcoin decoupling from the? I talked about it in this episode today. Listen, this is GJH. It's a great question. It needs to be said because if you're asking it, other people do. I do notice there's a great deal of, telephone. Is it the game you played with a little kid called Telephone, where you sit in a circle and someone says a sentence and then it goes around the circle. By the time it gets to the end, it's completely changed and warped and different, right? Not done on purpose. Often I say things and people get it like really misconstrued. People still think my target on Bitcoin is 160,000 or worse, 140,000, no, listen, let me just repeat what I said earlier in this episode. Let me just say it again. Just try to listen with clarity. Just try to listen to what I'm saying. It's really important. There's I've said it. And by the way, when I first said that the dollar is going to break all correlations, this was way earlier. This was going back before the Bitcoin bull market started. This was in this area over here, in this pocket over here. People were worried that if the stock market crashed, it was going to take Bitcoin down with it. And I was like, no. You're going to start seeing now Bitcoin break all correlations, which happened very clearly. And I said in the first quarter of 2021, we're coming towards the end of that right now, you would really start seeing Bitcoin break all correlations. What happened in January? Bitcoin was up 100%, $20,000 to $40,000. Stock market's correcting, and it's going to get more pronounced into the second and third quarter. In the third quarter, Bitcoin is just going to be Bitcoin breaking all correlations. Right now, today, or not just even today, but if there's a problem with the markets, and by the way, you saw this over here. What was that video that I showed to you this morning, March the 4th? March the 4th was over here. At this point, it was the equity markets and financial markets dragging down Bitcoin on that double pullback, right? That could happen again today if we see the Nasdaq down 3% today. I assure you, or I earnestly believe, Bitcoin is going to be under strong pressure, right? Now, that's just the risk. Again, just let me be clear. I hope it's a non-event. This is the biggest test that Jay Powell has faced. Jay Powell has been through a dollar liquidity crisis, right? Do you remember when he stepped in just 12 months ago and increased the Fed's balance sheet by $4.1 trillion? That wasn't the biggest test. This is the biggest test today. It's a big moment in the markets. So what else are we looking at over there, Dustin? Boom. Thank you, Jarek. It's all very important to me. It's all. Do not think that we could do what we've done with not being this laser focused. Again, I've said before, laser eyes in my context is not about $100,000 Bitcoin. There's not $100,000 Bitcoin to me is kind of irrelevant. Like that's not where my eyes are on, right? My eyes are on the price. And in order to do that, in order to make sure that we all walk away doing everything we needed to accomplish during this bull market phase, setting ourselves up for the bear market phase. But the exit's the most important thing. It's the one thing that most people invested in Bitcoin are going to get wrong, is the exit. It's the one thing that I am the most focused in on, is the exit, right? You're going to watch, you're going to see, and everyone is going to become a hodler right? As Bitcoin goes into the bear market, as Bitcoin comes off 50% in 10 days or so, all of a sudden, everyone is going to become a forced hodler. And then they're going to be, anyway, here we go. What else we got going on today? Let me catch in a little bit. Thank you for the thumbs up, JC. Thank you for help supporting the channel, supporting the work. You know what it does is it really helps the algorithm. And then someone is joining us today. And if it's you right now, welcome. Someone is joining us today for the first time and they're like, wait, something special is going on here. Do you see the comments that this group puts in here? I don't see this on other channels. What's going on that everyone here's game is so elevated and so high? Maybe I want to spend some more time in here, So, thank you for helping others get in here for the first time because they become valuable members of the community. Someone that's just joining us today, maybe 3 months from now, is going to be sharing something with all of us that is going to make us look at things differently. So what else are we looking at? Yeah, this is really important over here. Zen talking about, listen, do your best at trading. Be careful, gain experience and confidence and success. And I just dialed in on confidence. Some people think or might get the impression that, I don't know if anyone thinks I'm overconfident. And if you do, just understand, I don't know anyone else who watches their risk more than myself. It's not that I'm confident. I am confident in my, let's say, abilities. I'm confident in my analysis. I'm confident in my results. I guess that breeds confidence. But at the same time, I'm always watching for what could go wrong and when. So what else we got going on today? If your stop loss is at 0, but we have a 50% correction and the model may be broken, when you consider it? No. So this is a great question. I'm glad I caught it. So, by the way, Les, just to be clear, and again, this whole telephone operator thing over here, I have multiple strategies which I'm playing out Bitcoin and its 4-year cycle, right? Some of them is obviously holding Bitcoin with no leverage, right? That was, obviously through Bitcoin 3,800 back in March, just less than a year ago. I held, as did most of you, and not only held and added, and that's gonna, if there's a 50% correction, that's never being sold anyway. Right? It's for all intents and purposes never being sold, right? Now, listen, I don't think anything that, all right, let me gather my thoughts. I don't think that whatever happens in the markets is going to derail Bitcoin's bull market phase, especially if it happens now this early here in March, because our window is beginning like towards the end of September. Right? September 21st. I put it right out there. That's when get ready to jump. I don't know if we're jumping. We're going to wait for that perfect spot. And you know what? Maybe it's 6 weeks later. I have no idea, but we're getting ready, right? Would I exit before there? No. If you're trading lightly leveraged, I just told you when you should lighten up your position and be, and then get ready to reaccumulate. This is not going to destroy what happens today or right now is not going to destroy Bitcoin's bull market phase. We could come under some heavy selling pressure for sure. I'm ready for it, and I'm watching those lightly leveraged positions today. It's very important to have those levels. Bitcoin is gonna triumph over here during this bull market phase. That I am pretty confident of. And if that were to happen or something were to happen that would cause me to reevaluate and get out of Bitcoin, right? Am I going to go dollar milkshake theory and just bust into the dollar? I'll let you know as that unfolds. That's not even on the radar right now, but I'm watching every day. And if something like that were to occur, thank you. If something, I said, thank you. I don't, it doesn't even matter. Thank you, Stefano. Thank you, Stefano. If that were to occur or anything was making me rethink the most important trade that matters, there's no question each one of you are going to know before everyone else. And when I say before everyone else, I mean everyone else on the internet. We got it the clearest. There's no question about that. So what else? Jordan, yeah, this is Gino. This is really important, and I just want to build off of this. This was going through my mind or something close to it. Even if I don't have the Bitcoin halving chart up over here right now, if I had my halving tracker, Twitter up here, and I could show you the second cycle, and I talk about even under tighter monetary conditions, Bitcoin had a 30x, right? As I just said before, I'm not worried about what Bitcoin is going to do during this bull market phase. And if anything were to cause me to rethink that, you all will know about it. I think Bitcoin triumphs, but this could be a big speed bump in the way right now. A lot of people looking for that 30% plus correction. If Bitcoin is trading on a 38% correction, I guarantee you a lot of people are selling Bitcoin, and a lot of people think Bitcoin's crashing 50% and or going to zero, which are all possibilities. But Gino, I just want to be very clear, right? I'm very bullish on this Bitcoin bull market phase that we're seeing, and I still think that even if today we have an event, I think that we outperform the second cycle. I'm watching what develops over here, and things could change. This could cause a full-blown crisis if we see rates continue to rise over here, a full-blown market crisis. Now, what do I believe that the Federal Reserve and central banks and government's response will be? To print much more, massive amounts, right? And is the Fed's balance sheet all of a sudden going to go to 15 trillion in a heartbeat? First we got to get to 10, but yeah. And how's Bitcoin going to react to all that? We all know the rocket's going to be a rocket. So what else are we looking at? If you're into Cardano, watch Brandon, Crypto Trades on Tech. Brandon continues to put out that fire content along with Heath on Trade Talk. And you could get, the Brandon is hyper-focused on Cardano. That's conquering the markets all day long. We work together as a team over here. No question about that. What else? Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Amar. These little comments, by the way, they mean the world to me. It really is what motivates me to keep going, as well as when I receive notes talking about the things that have been accomplished. Eric, you watch this channel all the time, right? Have you not seen me starting to prepare you on the 25th of February for what is taking place today and the risk in the market, followed by the March 4th? If you haven't, go watch those videos. They watch these March 4th videos. The one on the afternoon Friday or in the morning, it's all confusing. There's so much good content we put out often. It explains everything super clearly and super simply, and it's complicated stuff. No question about that. Where else are we looking at today? I see a lot of Cardano chatter. I don't know what's going on. And yeah, so not only 2 p.m., Chad, not only is 2 p.m. when we have the statement, but it's a half hour later when the press conference comes out. That's when the magic happens. It's during the press conference, because it's at this moment that, and I've talked about, and I'm not going to do it right now. It's the press conference where anything new could be introduced to the market when they do the question and answer portion, and Powell's asked questions that the Federal Reserve has given to the reporters to ask ahead of time. It's all orchestrated, right? It's not like they're like, well, this is so-and-so from CNBC. What do you think of this, and this? Hey, Powell with the high five, air slap. Thanks for setting me up over here. Let me go ahead and continue. It's all a joke is what it is. But anyway, what else are we looking at today? 934 likes. Thank you, Stefano, for sharing Brandon's channel. If you go to anyone, by the way, if you go to my YouTube homepage and you scroll to the featured channels, you'll see Brandon Crypto Trades on Tech, and you'll see Heath on Trade Talk. Someone mentioned earlier too that we're seeing Heath continue to put out fire content on his channel as well. They're my boys, no question about that. Trying to come down into real time to see what else we're going on to. Someone wanted to look at FX, look at the majors in FX, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to start that off with the DXY. Here we go. We see the Nasdaq coming back to test the session lows over here. Bitcoin is off its lows. No, it's not. Bitcoin at 54,800. All right. So what are we looking at? Let's start off with the DXY. Everyone has a clarity on this, right? Right now we're into resistance. Let me just move it up. All right. We're right there. We're into that resistance, having trouble crossing over that. This is going to be what happens today on the FOMC. The dollar's next move will be dependent on that, right? By the way, watch out if you break above here. You still got to clear this area of resistance before we say, all right, now we're looking for a stronger move on the dollar and into this. And that means yields are going to be rising. around this 94 area into this blue box over here, right? So what happens if it's a non-event? You'll probably see this resistance hold. The dollar comes back into this sideways pattern that it's in off of this massive downtrend, right? So when you see the dollar moving sideways, consolidating, it could be setting up another massive leg down. This is genuinely, probably the base case for what is going to happen. The surprise, the risk is if Powell lets the rates rise, and then we're going to see dollar bid, and dollar will be bid under those circumstances. That means the gold and silver will continue to be under pressure, right? Look at gold, by the way, this morning. I know I want to get into FX. I'm getting there. Look at gold coming back into this resistance, right? So you're at an inflection point. I'm trying to tell you, it's such a critical day. Looking at price now, Jordan, focus on the technicals. And you can see that across the markets, we're at these pretty critical places area over here. If it's a non-event, you're going to see yields coming off. You're going to see gold come back into our consolidation pattern over here. We'll talk about if that occurs. Silver will be trading above its 2630 resistance. That's bringing in possible buy opportunities in the sessions ahead for silver. Yeah, if Powell does mention anything that brings rates down, you're going to see silver explode up. It could be trading much higher today. At the same time, if you see rates pop, silver's going to get crushed. You stand aside until we have an actionable signal, and we don't right now. Let's start with the euro US dollar. All right, euro US dollar. I have the DXY in mind. So let me remove this line. Well, I'll keep that line in there. Let me just make it a little bit lighter for myself. Right? So this was 2 weeks ago on the Conquering the Markets trading session. By the way, if you're just joining us, if you're just joining the community in the Conquering the Markets trading program, all of the available training sessions are available. When I say all, I mean all over years worth of trading sessions. If you want to understand how to trade the markets, including all of the work that we've put out on Bitcoin, all of the trading sessions that we've done over the last 6 weeks on trading Bitcoin nightly leveraged, my exit plans, everything, including this video over here, the masterclass on Forex. And we talked about setting up this trade over here, this breakdown of this trend line, the retest and the resumption off, right? So, there's nothing new here on the euro US dollar that I would be getting involved with. I will look at a couple of more pairs, but I'm really looking for after today's event to set that up. This is the pound US dollar. You could see the support we talked about in yesterday's session over here. You could see it trying to peak above over here, breaking out over here. Always on FX, it's always breakout, retest, resumption. On crypto, you get breakouts. You got to be aware coming out of the consolidation, you very often get breakouts, especially on altcoins. Never in FX, never take the breakout. It's such a low probability trade. It's always breakout, retest, resumption. That keeps you out of getting in a lot of bad trades. It's almost as important in growing your account to get yourself to filter out all of the bad trades. And breakouts and breakdowns are very low probability trades. There's nothing yet to talk about over here, right? I don't want to force anything. US dollar, Japanese yen, that's dependent. The only reason this is rising over here, technically, yeah, this was coming out of this, this trend line break. We love them, right? But this is because of the rising yields on the dollar. Let's see what happens today. You got to watch the 10-year today. I'm not really focused in on FX today. I'm more focused in on the 10-year. I'm focused in on what the FOMC does. How the market reacts today will be setting up trades with strong signal for the weeks ahead. So just instead of trying to force something today by doing your analysis, that analysis will come in later today. Watch into London tomorrow. We get some beautiful moves. And maybe not. Maybe you're going to see moves that occurred overnight in the next 24 hours will have no pullback. Maybe price just starts going and getting away. Perfect. Now you know the direction you want to be trading in. Wait for the pullback. Wait for the retest and the resumption. Even if it doesn't happen this week, you all got to fix your time preference. Everyone is afraid of missing out, and instead they're in a rush to lose money instead of having the patience to make it. So there's nothing to go through in FX today. Tomorrow, yes, we're probably going to have a super strong session focusing on and only on FX. we've covered everything in the past 2 weeks on Bitcoin that we need to focus in on Bitcoin right now, right? We are super hyper focused. The sessions have been absolute fire. They've been providing enormous value for myself. So I hope they're providing enormous value for you as well, right? But we have the clarity we need on Bitcoin. We've been on hold. I think tomorrow, I think, I can't predict the future, but we're going to be hyper focused on what's going on in the FX markets. Yeah, that's right. King Crypto, thank you so much for just highlighting on that. I'm not going to be streaming this speech today, but I will do if it's important, if I feel like, as I always do, if I need to produce or touch base with you all in an afternoon video or in the Discord, I'll be doing that with you. If not, tomorrow morning we'll be here. We'll do it all again. Yes. Time preference. This is CTM, life-changing lessons. Did he? I just looked at a post this morning. Did he post another one? Let's check it out in real time together, right? And again, nothing against the guy. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I guess we're not on the same page. I just talked about his most recent post that he had posted 2 hours ago. It wasn't fire. It was absolute. We're 3.5 months into the Bitcoin bull market, totally at getting it wrong. The Bitcoin bull market was called on this channel as we broke out technically over here on July the 26th. That was a while ago. But anyway, that's the guy. I like the guy. I love his chart. I love the chart with the pretty colors. There's no question about that. But that's it. With 3.5 months into the Bitcoin bull market, what? Anyway, I guess different schools here, and I'll school them. All day long. So that's where we are there. What else? Yeah, Stefano, if it hasn't come through, and no one knows it's authentic, you're really important to me, and I really care about this community. It's very special to me. When I say that you guys are like family to me, I mean that, and I'm extraordinarily loyal, right? So anyway, thank you for the session. Thank you for what we covered here today. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing, and rightfully so. We focus on the lessons that the markets are giving us. We don't try to here's how you trade the markets and impose our will on the markets. We're students of the markets. The reason that we're so dialed in is because we're always following the lesson of the markets and paying attention to what the market's paying attention to. Is how you do it, is how we do it. And I thank you, Stefano, and I thank you, George, and I thank you, Lemmy, and I thank you, Pravita, and Common Tribe, and Greg, and each and every one of you who give so much to continue to help make this community thrive. Yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to moderate the channel, but we have to moderate the channel so we can continue with focusing on the discussions and dialogue that's important to help us to achieve the things that we want to achieve through the markets and in life. And I got a note yesterday. It was extraordinary. I will share it with you tomorrow. It was extraordinary. And the person's talking about how because of the accomplishments they've made in the past 12 months, they're now focusing their life on charity and helping other people. I mean, that's conquering the markets all day long. That's why we're here. We're here to help as many people possible live better lives. So thank you so much. Thank you for the time today. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for making me a better person. Really, thank you for making me a better person. Listen, let's go out with our jam. That's awesome. I just dialing into your comments over here and seeing that this session was as important for all of you as it was for me. That makes me really happy, really fulfilled. We did what we needed to do. That's how we do it. Everyone, have a beautiful day. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon.